You know that feeling when you finally decide to upgrade that little budget router, or a cheap handheld router, and after a few weeks everything you wanted to cut just ends up looking like a child's doodle. I've been there, and that regret is what makes me pause before I click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Jet 3 HP Spindle Shaper, model JWS35X31, promised to be the middle ground between those bargain bins and the big shop industrial rigs. So I dug into the specs, scrolled through the few handful of reviews, and asked myself, is this the smarter buy for a serious hobbyist or small shop operator? Or just another look-nice paper machine that will sit idle? First off, let's talk about the kind of work this spindle shaper is built for. If you spend any time shaping moldings, doing light-duty sign work, or need a compact tool that can handle both straight and curved cuts without pulling a full-size spindle molder, the Jet's 3 horsepower engine and its 4 reversible speeds, 4,000 up to 10,000 revolutions per minute, give you a surprisingly flexible range. The reversible function is especially handy when you're dealing with tricky grain direction or need a quick reverse to free a jammed workpiece. In my own shop, I've used the 6,000 revolutions per minute setting for a smooth veneer on a small cabinet door, then switched to 10,000 revolutions per minute for a fast roughen on a decorative crown molding. That kind of on-the-fly speed change saved me the hassle of swapping out the tool or resetting feeds, which is a real time saver when you're juggling a few projects at once. Now, the table. A 32-inch by 26-inch cast iron surface sounds hefty, and it is. The heft gives the machine a solid, vibration-free base, which translates directly into cleaner cuts. When I was sanding a inch pine panel, the table stayed rock-steady even as the cutter bit lifted and dropped for a few seconds. That mass also means the unit won't tip over if you accidentally bump the fence, a small but comforting safety net in a busy workshop. However, that same mass makes the Jet a bit of a moving challenge. It's not a machine you'll roll out on a cart to another room, you'll likely set it up in a dedicated spot and keep it there. If you need a portable spindle shaper to take to job sites, the weight could become a genuine drawback. The fence deserves some special mention. It's extruded aluminum with slots, and it comes with 2 featherboard hold-downs. In practice, the fence slides smoothly along the full length of the table, letting you set up long straight cuts without any wobble. The featherboard grips are firm enough to keep the workpiece from creeping during a long pass, yet gentle enough not to mar the wood surface. I ran a test shaping a 2-foot length of hardwood, and the fence held the piece perfectly straight for the entire 30-second pass. The only quirk I noticed was that the slot alignment is a tad tighter than on some larger industrial models, so you have to take a moment to line up your clamps exactly, otherwise, you may end up with a slight drift over a very long cut. The extra-large chrome handwheel is another detail that feels like it was designed with real users in mind. It sits on the side where you'd expect it, offering a comfortable grip and enough leverage to move the cutter carriage quickly across the table. I found that adjusting the handwheel by hand is far quicker than fiddling with a small plastic knob, especially when you're setting up for a new pattern. The handwheel also turns smoothly in reverse, which, combined with the motor's reversible speed, lets you back the cutter out of a jam without having to stop the entire machine, a little time saver you might not think about until you're actually in a sticky situation. Dust management is often an afterthought, but on a spindle shaper the chips can get messy fast. Jet built a 4-inch dust port right into the fence, allowing you to hook up a shop vac or a dedicated dust collection system without any extra tubing. In my shop, the dust collector was already set up for other tools, so I ran a short hose to the port and the majority of the shavings were captured before they could settle on the floor. It's not a sealed-in system, but it's more than enough for a hobbyist workshop where you'd rather not be breathing in fine wood dust. So, who should actually consider buying this spindle shaper? If you're a serious DIYer who frequently works with custom moldings, does occasional sign making, or needs a compact tool for small batch production, the Jet gives you the horsepower and speed variety you need without demanding the floor space of a full-size spindle molder. It also makes sense for a small woodworking business that wants to add a shaping capability without a huge capital outlay, especially when you factor in the durability of the cast iron table and the ready-made dust port. On the other hand, if you run a large shop that already has